guys. Welcome to Somewhere in the Middle. I'm Nikki.
And I'm Angie.
Today we are continuing our series on recognizing red flags. We are on part three, the dating section of the story. So now you've gotten past, what are you looking for? What are they looking for? You've met them. Y'all have hung out a little bit. Y'all have figured out that y'all really, feeling each other. And now y'all are dating, which by definition, my definition, means y'all are feeling each other. And y'all just trying to see where everything goes. This is before a relationship phase. This is before y'all are really, really serious, but this is a time where y'all just trying to get to know each other. Okay. So, what do you think are some of the red flags that you have encountered in the dating phase?
I think it shouldn't go without talking about what dating really is. Because I think a lot of times I think I was dating somebody, but I really wasn't dating them, and they were situationships. So maybe our middleman crew need to know,
Just
like,
calling viewers for right now.
okay, viewers. So dating, dating. Are we sexually active? Are we intimate? Or are we just going on dates, getting to know each other? Help me with that, so I can give you a good answer.
It just depends on you personally. Do you not? Do you only have intercourse with those people that who have committed themselves to you and you're
Yes.
committed to? Okay, well then the dating goes before that.
Okay.
I don't. I mean, I feel like as far as that is concerned, that's each
Well,
and
could that
every
be a red
it's
flag?
individual.
Well, could that be a red flag? If you are dating multiple people and having multiple intimate encounters, or they're dating multiple people, is that a red flag? Because if you're dating, why are you dating? Are you dating with the purpose of getting married? Are you dating with, the purpose of having a long-term relationship? Are you looking for a baby daddy or a baby mama? What are you dating for? So that's how you can kind of isolate the red flags, in my opinion. Because there's some guys that I'm dating, I'm having a good time, and after a couple of dates, you're like, I don't want to be with this person. And then there's some guys that you date and you're like, oh my God, I need him to love me back because I love him. Or maybe not, or maybe that's just me. But I think that's how you can kind of isolate like red flags, depending on what you want. Is this person giving you what you want back? That's probably the biggest red flag.
Absolutely. Yep. You have to match up um your communication with your expectations. You have to let them know, where you are, and when that changes, you have to let them know when that changes. I think that sometimes people will let you know. They may not verbalize it, but they may let you know that they're not on the same page that you're on with their actions. And so, what are some of the things that somebody can do to let you know they're not on the same page that you're on?
Oh, girl, not replying to your text messages. I hate person that, oh, I didn't see it, oh, my bad, I was busy. You were too busy to spend 2 seconds to say, hey, how was your day, what's going on, good morning, good night, I don't want to talk to you anymore, anything. I hate a person who doesn't communicate, because that lets me know that they're not vibing with me. Because if you were vibing with me, you'd reply back, you'd be concerned. I wouldn't have to text first.
Absolutely. So count that as a red flag, lack of communication, period. Um, at the end of the day, if somebody's interested in you, they want you to know it. Okay. They want you to be um secure in that. And if they don't, if they're treating you like it doesn't matter if you're secure in that in y'all situation or not, they're really not that interested. And so you can consider yourself as an option for them, and reciprocate that. Don't treat somebody like they're necessary when they're treating you like you're an option at the end of the day. What about for me, one is when I'm dating somebody and they're trying to be too romantic.
Hmm. What you
I
mean?
think we talked about this. I think we talked about this on the last one, where everything is about getting closer romantically.
I
You
thought that
know,
was the
there's a
first
time,
date, though. I thought you didn't like that on the
e-
first date.
even no, that's not just the first date. I mean, overly romantic.
Mm-hmm.
When we're dating, I still need you to see me as a person.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to talk to me about your day. I need you to talk to me about what's going on in the world. I need you to talk to me like, I hate to say like you will talk to your homeboys or your family member, but don't see me just as somebody to wine and dine, because that's not real life for
Ah,
me.
okay.
I don't need roses every time we see each other. I don't need you, trying to push up on me physically every time we see each other. Yes, there's a time for that. And maybe in my 20s or before I had kids, maybe, I don't know, I would have considered that. I wouldn't have considered this a red flag, but at this age, I need to be seen as a whole person.
Mm.
Somebody who is a absolutely a sexual being, absolutely, want to be feel attractive, absolutely, but also want to be respected for my mind, for my opinions, for my thoughts. Um, even and I'm not saying every conversation has to be a deep, conversation. We may just, you know, chit chat about our day while you watching Sports Center and I'm reading my book. We may just coexist with one another, but don't be, for me, somebody who's overly romantic or just trying to make 100% of our dating life or our interaction about romance and, you know, sex. And I just don't want that at this age. So for me, that's a red flag.
See, for me, I don't. I would disagree. Like, I don't want you to put me in a category as your homeboy. I think there's a space for that. And you should have your friends that you talk to about friend things, and you should have your people that fish with, go shoot pool with. I want you to romanticize me. I mean, I want you to you know put me in that space of significant other person that I want to build a life with. And I feel like after make it a clear differential between, okay, you're not my homegirl, you somebody I'm pursuing something with, then we can grow in our friendship, and become strong. But in the beginning, don't treat me like one of your homeboys. I ain't one of your homeboys. Now I may do some of your homeboy things while we kissing up on and rubbing up on each other. We can smoke up. I mean, I'm sorry, we would never do that. We could have a drink, or go to the strip club, or whatever. But I want you to put me in that category as somebody you see a romantic future with.
Absolutely. I mean, I definitely agree with that. I just don't want that to be 100% of the time we together. So this is another one of those things where it's up to you. Okay. Where do you feel bragging or somebody who's overly confident or overly about themselves um, falls into the red flag category?
I think out the gate, I think anytime somebody has to tell you about their accolades or brag about non internal characteristics about themselves, that shows a lack of insecurity on my part. I feel like, who cares what kind of car you drive, how much money you make, what's in your 401k, and what's your credit score? I mean, granted, I'm gonna need to know those things in a little bit once we, move forward. But in the beginning, what else you got to offer? Are you a nice person? Do you believe in God? Do you go to church? Do you want kids? Like, do you are you a child molester? Like, I need to know some other characteristics about you, other than, I mean, well, when you have kids, you gotta, hey, people are strange these days. You got to do background checks on people, and I can show you how. So follow my TED talk. But beside the point. But you need to know those things about people, before you decide that you want to even date them. Who cares what kind of, I can't date your car. Is your car gonna pay the bills? Does your car have, you know, good integrity? Does your car lie? Like, no.
Absolutely. I do not like somebody who brags a lot. For me, that's a precursor to narcissism. I feel like when you have good qualities, those things will reveal themselves as we interact with one another,
Right.
as I learn more about you, as you learn more about me, as you um as you
You would
actually,
check your phone while we in the middle.
because I was looking at my son teacher. My son teacher, girl, I was upset about this paper my that was in my son folder. So his teacher responded. Anyway, I'll look at it later, I guess. When you somebody mama, honey, you got several eyes.
It
You got
never
several
turns off.
eyes in the fire. It never stops. But yeah, I don't like somebody who's constantly bragging. Again, your actions will reveal themselves as we talk about your day, as you talk about, who you are as a person, as we get to know each other. And I will begin to develop a sense of your characteristics and how you move about the world through that. I don't need you listing out, well, I'm always giving to charity. Ooh, let me go get this stuff together because I got to write this check out for such and such. And okay, if you're a generous person, those things will reveal themselves. You don't have to make a list of them. Like I
Right.
said, that for me, that's a precursor to narcissism. And I think it's very difficult to live up to a narcissist's expectations, for me.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think it shows you what they think about you too. So if you keep telling me about all these, financial characteristics, do you think that I'm only want you for your money? Or do you think I'm a gold digger, or that the only way that you can, I can be captured is to have finances? Like that's
Or do you have such a you just don't feel secure enough about who you are as a person? Do you feel like your personality or your characteristics themselves are not going to sell you, where you need to pad yourself
Mhm.
to look like something, extra,
Right.
is who you are not enough,
Right.
basically. And again, that for me is a sign of insecurity.
It is. And ain't
So,
nothing unsexier than a insecure man.
oh, that's the biggest red flag. That is a huge red flag. If you're dealing with somebody who's insecure, if you have to constantly, stroke their ego, if you have to constantly prove to them that, you're into them, or they're enough for you, or that's a lot of work. And I'm not saying that some women or some men are not just built that way, where they're just willing and able to, stroke somebody's ego for the rest of their life. Maybe you are, and that's fine. For me, that's a lot of work. That's
Mhm.
a lot of work. I don't want to put that much pressure on somebody, and I'm not gonna let nobody put that kind of pressure on me, because your ego will be in the garbage mess with me, waiting for me to stroke you. I mean, when you do something good, I'm gonna praise you. When you do, when you're the man that I want you to be in my life, or you're living your life as a walking example of how the rest of us should live, I'm gonna definitely praise you for that. But I'm not going to make it a checkoff list every day, tell you how great you are. No. Or at any rate, but if that's you, go for it.
Right.
So we already kind of talked about this lack of interest,
Mhm.
when somebody's not showing you what you're showing them, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like for example, when you're like, "Hey, there's a concert that I want to go to. My favorite band is in town on Friday." Oh, that's nice. Well, that wasn't a reply we were going for, Or my family has a having a get together on Sunday. I'd love for you to come meet them. No, I'm not ready for that. Or I don't want to be around your family. Who all gonna be there? It's like, do you see yourself as a part of my life? Being a part of my life means taking an interest in some of the things that I like, just like I'm gonna take an interest in some of the things in yours, and we share those. So if he's telling you out the gate, no, I don't want to go to that band, I don't want to go to that play, that movie, or whatever it is that you're interested in, then these are things you're passionate about, and he could care less, he might not care, ever.
That that's true. And one thing about that, and I know that a lot of times we want things to jump off the way we want them to jump off immediately. It may not be that he may never care, but just know that he's not in that place that you're at that moment. And so make sure you're not putting him in the wrong box. Make sure you're not putting him in a "this my man" box. He's telling you, "Nah, I don't want to meet your family." That's a sign that that's not the box for him. Y'all just hanging out at this point.
Right.
Okay. And it's up to you to decide if you're gonna just keep just hanging out with him exclusively, or if you're gonna, have, if you just in the hanging out, we just hanging out, it ought to be several people in that box.
Right.
Okay. You ought not never keep filling that box up until You got one person in the I'm committed to you box, not you committed to them. Okay, that has to go both ways. But if you got somebody who's telling you, who's sending you those signals of no, I'm not trying to enmesh my life with yours, then y'all are still dating. And by no means should they feel like, or should you feel obligated to have only that one person.
Right.
Because I guarantee you they have more than one person in that box that you're in for them. Angie told me stop talking to y'all, stop chastising y'all, so I'm gonna stop pointing. But I'm serious about that because that's where when you get those expectations, when you put somebody in that wrong box, you setting yourself up for failure.
Right.
You said this is the woman who men ain't nothing. This is the man who, all these O's ain't worth it. That's when you start getting bitter. When you start not reading the signs, not looking at how somebody treats you, and then treat them according to how they're treating you. When you start, laying out the red carpet for somebody who, may call you back or may not, that's when you start getting bitter. Okay, that's when you start not honoring yourself. Look at how
Preach.
you're treated first.
Preach. I
Okay,
mean, I
that's
think
it for
we
that.
all have. I mean, and I know I told you about being on your soapbox, but you have a right to be passionate about that because I think a lot of times people don't realize we teach. Somebody used to say we teach people how to treat us, and some people understand what that means, some doesn't. But what you're saying is exactly what it is. So if somebody has given us just the bare minimum and we rolling out the red carpet and like, oh, that's my man, come on over, let me cook you dinner, run your bath water, suck your toes, and all kind of stuff. Why would he do any more? And he's
He's
showing you
not
that he
going
really
to.
don't care about you. You just
Yeah.
a person who, anytime he want the red carpet rolled out, he gonna call you when it's
Call you.
convenient for him.
Yep.
Don't ask
That's
me how.
absolutely correct. That's that truth right there, honey. That's for sure. Um, what you want to do, red flag, somebody who's not respecting your boundaries.
Ooh, yeah, that happens. I haven't had a child in my home in a long time, but I used to have a little child in my home, and I didn't want guys to come over until after she either went to sleep or wasn't there. And sometimes, oh, why I gotta wait? I ain't gonna say nothing. You want me to meet the daughter? And they would steady be pushing the envelope, or for whatever reason. I don't want you to come over, while she's here. Why not? I'm just gonna pull up. You, that shows you immediately that he has no respect for what the hell you gotta say. I said no. And that should have been the end of that.
Yeah. Big red flag. Big red flag. Absolutely. And that's a great example for somebody who's not respecting boundaries. At the end of the day, I don't care what your boundaries are, you have them or you should. And if you don't have boundaries, you shouldn't be dating anybody. But if you, whatever your boundaries are, you set them based on your need to feel safe, your need to feel respected or heard, and you should honor those things at all times. And somebody is not easily respecting those boundaries, then may not be the person for you. For example, I have had a situation where I was dating somebody and they would come over, but we would stay outside. It was no problem, and this literally went on for a month. We would just meet up outside in the parking lot, because it was something about that person that I just didn't feel that they were going to be long term at that point. And so I didn't feel like there was a need to bring them inside of this home that I share with my children. So, and it was no problem. It was no problem at all. They never mentioned it. Um, I'm I set boundaries even from the very beginning, even going back to just when you meet somebody online. I think we ought to have some kind of good online back and forth before we exchange numbers. And
Agree.
if you're not trying to do that, I don't care how you look. I don't care what your stats are. I don't care, you know, what kind of future I may have envisioned for us. We're not moving past that point because I've set up those boundaries for a reason. I always have a sense of how is this person respecting your boundaries. If you get pushed back, and this is male or female, if you get pushed back on that, girl say, "Hey, you come pick me up." You say, "No, let mama, I'd rather just meet you out somewhere." She, "Oh, well, come on, you can come pick me up. It's fine. It's cool." that may not be the person. Y'all might not be eye to eye. So this is a male and female. Always have somebody that's gonna respect your boundaries easily with no problem.
No, you're
What about money?
absolutely right.
I'm sorry.
Don't give it. Don't loan it. Oh no, that one we're talking about. Oh, well, there are a couple of things. So when you say money, I got a lot of boundaries with that. I do live a different lifestyle. And it's not because I'm rich, but because I don't have any children. Okay, maybe I'm a little rich. No, I'm joking. I'm not rich. I'm poor.
You better say
Um,
it, honey.
I don't like when people ask me how much money I make or what I do for a living. That ain't why. Why does it matter? It'd be different if we had decided that we're gonna be together and we're, talking about finances and making sure that we're equally yoked or comparing our debt before we decide to engage in a long-term relationship. But why does it matter how much I make or where I work or what I do
Can I
for?
say this though? I'm not having two conversations with somebody without finding out what kind of job they have. So you may have a trigger where that's concerned, but that's really something that comes up in regular conversation from just
Well,
from the McDonald's worker to the CEO. That's just something that comes up in general
well, you
conversation.
can say, okay, I work for, Nabisco. Why does it matter how?
That you could be the janitor or the CFO.
Right. So it doesn't
No,
matter.
yeah, it does matter. It matters tremendously.
Why?
Yeah.
Why does it matter?
So those things which you have poured into your own life manifest in your career. It's not just about the kind of car you drive or the salary you make. It's about those experiences that you've had that have led you up to the person that you are today. If I tell somebody I teach school, that has nothing to do with how much life insurance I sell, how many cell phones I sold at Verizon. It has nothing to do with how many big trucks I drove across this country. It don't have nothing to do with nothing. I said I'm a teacher. That tells people that I went to school.
Mm-hmm.
I go get up and go to work every day. I have a steady, income. They may not know exactly what it is. They may have a ballpark figure, but that's not too much information for me to share with somebody. These are things which I need you to understand about me, so you understand the kind of person that I probably would be okay with. Now, ask yourself this: if the job the guy has isn't important, that you're meeting, that you're getting to know and you're dating, if it doesn't matter at all, look back at those people which you have invited into your life. Have they been on your level? Those who have literally been invited in.
Not the ones that
The answer is no.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
Which ones have been on your level as
I
far
would
as
not
where
share that on this forum. Well,
none?
it's a red flag for me. I work in telecommunications, and in the beginning, that's all you need to know. You see my degrees on the wall. You see them. I work in telecom. I don't think, I work, if a guy meet a guy, he says, oh, I work for Chase. Okay, cool. I need you to be gainfully employed and not, selling nickel and dime bags. That's all I ask. And not be selling.
You can't tell me where you work. You got to tell me what you do. Because where you work at, you can work where I work. I work for Blue Cross ISD. Oh, okay. Now I work there, so I know Blue Cross ISD got everybody from $7.25 workers, part-time workers. They got degree workers. They have certified workers. They got licensed workers. They have contract workers. They have everything. I want to know what you've poured into your life that gets you to where you are right now. I need to know specifically. At any rate, it's up to you, I guess. I see. I would have thought that was something that was a given. Tell people what you do for a living. It tells people what kind of. I mean, that's that's that.
That's the reason why I don't like it, because people ask you that because they are waiting to assess what kind of respect or value to give to you based on what you do for a living, and that's not right, and it's not fair. It's not. So what happens if now? Hey, what? It's not. We haven't always done the things that we've done, and how would you feel if somebody judged you because you made other decisions that weren't societally correct?
Like what though? Like I feel like whoever I am at whatever moment, and I've been different in different stages, from everything from not a bartender, but a waitress, to worked in the kitchen at the doggone nursing home when I was in school, or substitute teaching. Even after I was degreed and licensed, I was subbing. Whoever what I was, that's what I was. That's who I was. That's what I was doing at that time.
Well, I'm not my
And
job, so that's not.
no, you're not your job, but I'm not even saying in a sense of you personally, but
Mhm.
those people that you're inviting into your life ought to have some measure of compatibility with the type of life that you've created for yourself. Like if you're a janitor, I have no problem. If you're a janitor and you call me and we how long have you been doing this janitorial work? Because my uncle got raised his family having a janitorial service. When I stopped teaching, I had a janitorial service. I walked 7 days a week, every night, pregnant, cleaning
Yeah.
buildings. So I'm not gonna look down on you, even if you making $8 an hour doing janitorial work. How long have you been with this company? I need to know these things. You know what I'm saying? Are
Right.
you just now starting in your janitorial career? Or have you been cleaning these buildings for, downtown for this service for the last 20 years? You know what I'm saying? What
Okay,
kind of stability do you have?
you see why these is important to discuss this when you're dating, because different people have different views and different boundaries and different expectations. This is why communication is important when you're dating somebody, because just like me and Nikki have opposing views on this one particular subject, you and the person that you're dating are going to have opposing views on different things. Communication is key into making sure that you're equally yoked, with that person. It's important to talk about it. Right, wrong, or indifferent. Somebody else's boundary is not mine, and vice versa. But money, don't ask me for any. I ain't
Bottom
got it.
line, money, don't ask me for none. That's a red flag. So how about this? Is how you handle your money a red flag?
Yes. Well, because so I'm very frivolous with money. I mean, it is what it is. I'll tell anybody in a minute. Don't ask me for no financial advice. My answer is to buy it, spend it, do it. I will worry about paying the light bill tomorrow.
YOLO, you only live once.
Right. So yes. So, but when I say that, I'm being joking. But how people spend money is a direct indication of what happens when they get married. Because I'm not gonna change. So if I decide to get married tomorrow to whoever, if somebody's out there, let me know. Um, he needs to know that my attitude towards money is I'll save a little bit, but I'm going to spend it today because tomorrow isn't promised. That's an attitude that is not going to change unless something
Right. And
dramatic.
it's not gonna work for everybody. Right.
No, no. And if he's frivolous, or if he likes to spend money too, I can't be with somebody who's as frivolous I am. Girl, we'll be homeless. Well, who paid the mortgage? I didn't pay the mortgage. I didn't. Shit. I got some new shoes. You want to see them? So,
Right.
so yeah.
Absolutely.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
I definitely agree. I definitely think that we should have some understanding of, and it may not be somebody making a big speech. It may just be you seeing, you watching their ins and outs and having little conversations here and there. But that is something to find out during the dating realm. Is their how they handle their money, regardless of whether they're asking you for money or not. Is that a red flag for you, or is it not?
Right. Right.
Now, this is something near and dear to my heart in particular.
Uh-oh, you got to take a sip on that. This is going to be good, y'all.
How do their drinking versus non drinking persona compare?
Oh, that's a huge red flag. So I like to indulge in my adult beverage. I'm indulging in an adult beverage now as we speak. A
Aren't
man
we
can
all?
hold his liquor. Oh, when you get drunk, if you want to, okay, inebriated, loose, tipsy, whatever you want to describe it as, and you want to fight or be yelling, abrasive and stuff, that's not the move. I like my people to get drunk and be lovers. They get drunk and like,
Baby.
oh y'all come up here, squeeze. But yeah, that matters. People who are using drugs and alcohol as a coping mechanism, and they go overboard and they don't know how to handle it. They get too drunk where they pass out, can't drive home, got DUIs. I like responsible drunks. I like the drunk who's like, hey, we're going out to have drinks. I parked the car and we got the Uber already waiting. Somebody who's ready to have a good time and is prepared for the consequences and responsible for that so that nothing, bad happens. But people who do hard drugs or don't know how to hold their drugs and alcohol, that's a no-go. None. And I'm gonna get you drunk on the first night so I can see.
I might not get you drunk on the first night, but I'm definitely gonna put it in your face, and we gonna see how we do this thing. Because I don't want to wait to find out how you are when you're really, in your element, and whatever your element is, whether it's you just like to sip on a little something and stay mellow, or you like to go hard in the paint and get it started. I'm not gonna stop you from doing whatever it is you want to do, because however you do it, I need to see how it's done. I'm never gonna have a alcohol free household. I'm just not. I'm never going to make an effort to not have a glass of wine or a shot of vodka or both and a beer when I go out. I'm never going to do that. Why? Because I've been drinking since I was 15. It's caused not a single problem in my life. I've
Right.
never had a drunken fight. I've never had a drunken driving in this incident. I've never wrecked a car and not been able to go to work or any of those things. I use alcohol responsibly.
Right.
I just do. I was When I say I was drinking since I was 15, I was drinking at home, and I was raised with a respect for alcohol.
Right.
And I think if you weren't, by the time you get to the age where you're dating somebody like me, you should know. You should already know whether you can handle it or you can't. And if you can't, you should already know that that's not something you want to do. So
I agree.
yeah,
I agree.
definitely pay attention
Yes.
to who you're dating, because what'll happen, guys, and this is my last point on this. What'll happen is you will meet this guy and he's awesome and great and he's not drinking. Or you'll meet this girl and she's wonderful, sweet, and caring and loving when she's sober. And then y'all get to really liking each other. And then y'all get comfortable enough to be who you really want to be, and go get those drinks. And then you say, well, he's just like that when he's drinking. Well, that's still him though.
Right. Drunk
Why
by
you
himself.
already like him and you making excuses for him? Don't do that. Find out while you're dating who
Right.
that person is. Now, if you're a non-drinker and you only date non-drinkers, you ain't got to worry about this part. But if
But
you,
have you ever dated a non-drinker?
I don't.
That I couldn't imagine. Like me being the only one feeling good and have no. He looking at me, judging me. Oh no.
No, I will not date a non-drinker because I think it's just a bit much pressure, personally. um, and I'm not saying I drink every day, but
I drink every day.
I don't know. To me, you just don't sound like no fun. I mean, how we gonna go to a strip club and get turned up if you ain't,
Right. You ordered waters.
it's just not. So absolutely, guys, definitely. Who are they?
Yeah.
On Sunday morning with their suit on and Saturday night at the strip club. Who are they? You got to know.
Gotta know.
Um, Here's something that I don't know if we actually have talked about before. Are you dating the whole person or are you dating an island? This single solitary person. Do you see them when they're with their friends? Do you see them when they're with their coworkers? Do you see them when they are talking to family members on the phone or what video chatting? Or do you just see them when you're
Well,
dating?
I'm assuming this is in a pre-COVID world. Because lately, that's been nothing. But I think that it's important to get to know. I think there are two sides to this coin. I think it's important to get to know the person for who they are alone, and the person that they are when they're with their friends and family. I know you had mentioned one time on a previous episode about listening to a phone conversation so you can get an idea of how they interact with their friends. I still, kind of feel like A, it should be about me and not the other person. But C, how do I know that they're not putting on a show in front of me to make it seem like they're this caring person, or whatever that conversation was over the phone. But I do definitely think that there are two sides to it, and you need to see both aspects of this person. You need to see them alone, how they treat you, consistently, and how they treat their mama. I'm a firm believer in the relationship that a man has with his mother is a direct relationship that he's going to have with you. He respects his mama, he respects you. If he don't have no respect for his mama, he probably got woman issues, so I definitely like to see the mother son interaction, and definitely with his friends. I don't tend to judge them too much on how they act with their friends, because I know some of my friends, they a bit much. Ain't that right, Nikki? And so if people judge me, for my friends or vice versa, they might be like, girl, you ain't with Angie. I wouldn't want, I wouldn't want somebody to judge you or vice versa based on something. Oh, Angie had a baby when she was 14. There was a lot of years that people, thought that I was horrible because I had a baby when I was 2. So friends is kind of, but definitely the relationship he have with his mama. I said that 3 times, so that's important.
That's a trigger for you. Absolutely. I think when you're dating somebody, and we talking about red flags, so we talking about something that would be an issue before you try to get serious with somebody. I'm not gonna get serious with somebody if I've not seen them hang out with their friends. I'm
Mm,
not gonna get serious with somebody if I've not seen them interacting with their coworkers, if I've not seen them interacting with their family members. It's not about whether or not you showing me a representative or you fake. It's just about me making sure that I'm meeting the whole person
mm-hmm,
versus just meeting or having one perspective of you. If
mm-hmm,
you have children, and it's sad to see, well, say, but not really, because I dated somebody recently and I witnessed his interaction with his children repeatedly
mm-hmm,
because he was a major influence in his kid's life. And
mm-hmm.
so, I saw videos of him at home, you know, cooking in the kitchen with his kids and, sitting on the couch while they cleaning up. And, I was with him when he had conversations with, with his daughter about, you know, college going, and so I witnessed him interacting with his children.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would not date somebody who, or seriously, take somebody seriously or try to go past that dating stage with somebody had I not first seen them interacting
Right.
in those important interactions. Just because I feel like the more you leave out, the
Mm,
more of me that's on the outside,
mm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Because you might be missing out something. Like, what if he? Yeah, that's. I never thought about it that way. But definitely the relationship with his mama. You didn't say that, Nikki. I feel some type.
No, I mean, and actually, ironically, the same guy I'm talking about, he wasn't very fond of his mom.
Mm,
But he had we had discussions where he talked about her just like anybody else would talk about their mom. He talked about things, but he didn't disrespect her in the conversations that we had. But I saw a pattern of how she was, and eventually he kind of just said, no, they didn't have the best relationship. So I don't really look at that. Our mamas ain't the best, but
mm,
I look at so I'm gonna look at more so how you treat me.
right.
Um, at the end of the day, that's why we ain't talking. That's why we're not talking now. But get to school have nerve to tell me, girl, wait, well, I got to do a sidebar on this one because why does man have nerve to say he called me the other day. He said, we getting ready to get off the phone. So call me sometime. Don't treat me like I'm this horrible person. Just, call me sometime. I was like, I just laughed. And so he was like, you're not gonna say you gonna call me? I was like, you ain't finna make me lie. Like I'm not finna lie. So you said you're not gonna call me? I don't know if I'm gonna call you or if I'm not, but you're not gonna make me lie on this phone. Oh, I ain't called you up to this point because I already know your communication skills are very poor. I didn't say that because it wasn't no need to say it. But at the end of the day, no, I'm not. For what? Like you've shown me who you are. Why?
Right.
Oh, anywho, if I could literally, y'all be wanting to put these men together. If I could, I would put this one together properly and just. But then I'll be mad if I put them together right and then he go on to somebody else because that would be a lot of work. because this man literally does not understand that, his words. Like, he don't understand how to talk. Anyway, nevertheless, red flag. If you meet in the island, don't make the island your man. Okay,
Mm-mm.
keep him in the box of somebody you're just dating until you've seen more of the whole person.
Right.
Okay,
I agree,
all
Nick.
right, good. Now, red flag. This woman or man has availability blocks for you. Blocks of time in which he's available, blocks of time in which she is not.
Oh, I would have to say that that is questionable. I don't know. Because we do it, and I'm a great person, uh, but I have times where, look, hey, you can get Tuesdays and Wednesdays because the other days is it's not that I'm occupying with somebody else, but I have other obligations. So that could be either or. It depends on how it was presented to you. Is it, your day is Tuesday, or is it, I travel, I'm a traveling nurse, I'm a, doctor, I work 4 days on, 3 days off. So one of those days is dedicated to doing domestic, things at home. The other 2 days you can have. So I guess it depends on how it was presented to you and what's the reason why I only have an allotted amount of time. So I don't know.
So you're dealing with somebody and you notice that there's not a single Wednesday through Friday from 5 to 7 p.m. that they're available, that they answer the phone. And then whenever you do talk to them, they can't really give you an answer as to why it was that they weren't
Well, that's a red flag.
available.
I mean, I've met some guys who their phone stopped working at 6:30. It's like, well, what happened? Hello, what's going on? And if you live with your
Been
wife,
texting and calling all day.
if you live with your wife, just say that. Now that's definitely a red flag. If they disappear for large amounts of time and have no quantifiable excuse of why they're not there. Oh, I was at work at the doctor's office doing this, playing poker. Just I was chilling. I was asleep. Yeah, that's a red flag. Um,
Every time.
every time, right? You want to? Who are you lying to? No, you don't hit. Hitting is bad. Don't hit. But no, that's definitely a red flag. Now, like that's why I say it depends on how it's presented, to you. But if they just kind of disappearing, they're not available on the weekends. They only available Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. You a bank. You're not a man. So I don't hear you.
Screaming at my kids.
What? She is not screaming at the kids. They gonna call the people on you. She's not screaming at the children. She
I
was
just asked them where they going to bed.
she, she was testing her audio, guys. So anywho, um, while Nikki is busy, let me tell y'all, Nikki be fussing at y'all. Don't let Nikki fuss at y'all. Cause she be trying to tell y'all what's in her spirit and she be passionate. It's passion. She not fussing. Oh,
This is true. I'm certainly passionate and apparently parenting. Kids supposed to been asleep an hour ago. Whatever. But yeah, so definitely ensure that if you just notice patterns, and
mm,
I'm not one to be accused and saying, hey, you must be doing this or you must be doing that. It'll reveal itself. You may ask them casually. If they give you a answer, just take that. The answer will reveal itself, but keep your eyes open and don't put them in the wrong box.
right.
If this person has a pattern that is inexplicable, they have no answer or reason as to why this pattern is established, don't put them in the wrong box. Leave them in that dating box until things become clear, because if not, you're setting yourself up.
Right. Believe them when they show you who they are.
This is true. Um, good
Oh,
night,
those are
handsome
those little
man.
people again.
You want to give mama hugs?
Aw. Oh, that's so sweet.
He don't care what's going on, honey.
Well,
Baby, you know
anywho,
what? Look, he just mad. He just happy because he getting away with without brushing his teeth. He's so excited that he getting away with going to bed without brushing his teeth. I'm gonna let him make it. But anyway, so last one on this dating side, and I know we hit some important things, but some things y'all just let us know in the comments. But the last one I want to bring up on this one is somebody you're dating, which means you've met them. It's not just Zoom dates or Facebook or what
Right.
is it called? What is your iPhone thing called?
Oh yeah, you Android users call FaceTime.
Yes, I was like Facebook. Yes, not
Probably
just
the old way of
FaceTime.
aging yourself.
Y'all are actually dating in each other's lives.
Okay.
But they don't have time to hook up.
So we've dated before, and
Yes, y'all have been dating. Y'all are dating,
then
but
all
all
of
of us
a sudden they
either
don't.
all of a sudden or they never just really was too into it.
Well, if they were never too into it, why are we still dating them? That's a red flag. We already, said that. And then second of all, if you're dating somebody and all of a sudden they fall off the face of the earth or they don't have time, it's like, hey, you want to go here, you want to do this, and it's the answer is always no. Then they probably have moved on to somebody else and just hadn't told you yet. Because if the energy is great and y'all, met, you're dating, they don't have any red flags, y'all are, on and popping, and then all of a sudden it just ceases to exist, something happened. She or he happened. Okay, maybe it was something else, but they moved on.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not always somebody else. Sometimes something you did or something that's going on in their life. Either way, yeah, you. Um, either way, it doesn't matter. For whatever reason, they probably have lost interest, and so don't keep going with your full force. This finna be the one, and they've already shown you that there's a lack of interest or
Right.
they're all of a sudden not available. Now, I have heard of circumstances where people found out later on that the person was going through something or the person had a situation or whatever, but at the end of the day, if they're not comfortable enough with you to explain what's going on or let you know why they're falling off, then again, that's another sign that they're not really
They're
that into you
immature,
at
not
that point.
ready. Right.
Right, right, right. All right, guys. So at this point, Angie, can you think of anything else that we missed as far as red flags while you're just dating somebody?
While you're just dating somebody, at the end of the day, I think the biggest red flag indicator is if it don't feel good. If, whether it's the meetings, the dates, where you're going, who's paying, who's not paying, or they're opening doors and not opening doors. If it don't feel good, that's your spirit telling you something's not right. Look into it, explore it, regardless of what it is. Take a few minutes and take a step back and say, okay, am I missing something? Because I know a lot of times we like to ignore when it look good and it smell good and it tastes good. We like to ignore sometimes those things. But if something is keeps repeating itself and you don't feel great about something, you're uneasy, take a few minutes and just reflect and say, okay, am I tripping or is something really here?
Yes, girl, baby. You spoke a word on that one, honey. Yes. Absolutely. That is 1,000% correct. Don't ignore those little, questions in the back of your mind. Don't ignore those little feelings where, maybe this is not quite right. Like you said, at the end of the day, when you're dating, it ought to be fun. If we missed a big one as far as disagreements, arguments. You may not agree on everything, but how does this person disagree? How do you, I ain't gonna say how they disagree, because disagreeing takes two people. How does the disagreement get resolved betwixt the two of you?
Mm-hmm.
You may have a disagreement with somebody who is a good match for you, and y'all barely registered it as a disagreement. However, you may have somebody that's not a good match with you and y'all disagree in the last 2 weeks. Or, it turns into a screaming match. If you don't, if you're not with somebody who encourages you to disagree at your best level, where you're operating optimally, that's not the right person for you. You may just not know how to disagree. Um, and if you don't, you may want to, look into that. Um, I'll have a series on that later. But if you want to learn how to scream at people. Um, but at the end of the day, it has to feel good. You have to um you may, whether you realize it or not, whether you have kids or not, your relationship is going to be a model, either a model of good or a model of bad. And don't have a dating relationship where it's a bad model. Like, it's not good. All right, guys. I think that is it for this one, and we will see you in part 4.
I thought we were doing
This
this for
is
3.
that was just the dating, so we're not gonna go on to the relationship.
Y'all want to know about the relationship? Have
I
we made?
think they do,
Oh,
because
they do.
some of them right now in a relationship and past skipping over all kind of red flags.
Okay, we'll see you in part cuatro.
All
Cuatro.
right.
Four in Spanish.
Thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe.